What's up everyone? In this video, I have a minimalist cinema rig build for the Panasonic GH5 and the Atomos Ninja V. If you're new here, my name is Caleb and I've been doing freelance video production since 2012, but this channel is to help you make your own videos, whether you just started or you've been making them for a while, whether you use the GH5 or any other camera. If that's something you're interested in, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I want to thank the good people over at NITZE for sending me cages for the Panasonic GH5 and the Atomos Ninja V so I could build out this cinema rig for this video. So here's a couple reasons why you might want to consider using a cage for some of your gear like the GH5 and the Atomos Ninja V. First of all, it's just going to protect the outer shell of your camera. Now, a lot of times, if you have rails on here on the bottom part, it might protect your lens a little bit better. The lens is kind of exposed, but the camera body is going to be protected, as well as if you cage up your Atomos Ninja V, that is going to be protected as well. Another reason why you might want to use a cage is just for the different accessories that you can connect to the body and build out your camera rig. So if you have things like arms, if you want to put the monitor in a different spot, you can put it on an arm, you can put it on a rail system, you can connect a follow focus. You'd be able to put a handle on the side or on the top, and all of those things just kind of help control the camera. So if you're not a cage user, I would highly recommend using a cage, and this NITZE cage is actually a very budget-friendly cage for your GH5. So I already have this one put together, but let's just take a few steps back to when I built this out, and I will show you how everything goes together with this NITZE GH5 cage and Atomos Ninja V cage. Then we'll get into some of the things that I like about this setup, and then a few things that maybe NITZE could improve on to just make this camera system, the cinema rig, just a little bit more dynamic. So really the only tool that you're gonna need is your own screwdriver. The Allen wrenches come with the package for the NITZE cages. So you'll have those accessible, and if you're familiar with any type of cage gear, there's pretty much an Allen wrench for everything, so you probably have a ton sitting around. So first let's do the GH5 and cage that up with this cage, and this is the Sigma 16 millimeter f1.4 on here, so it's not a huge lens. And this is where you need the screwdriver. This is really the only part that you need a screwdriver, and so you just line that up and you get this caged. So this cage really fits the GH5 perfectly with access to all of the buttons and, you know, SD card slot, battery slot. You have all of those super accessible. And then one of the things that we're going to do is actually open up this HDMI port, and we're going to have that open when we put on this bracket to hold on the HDMI cord. So you just line these bolts up with these two holes right here and make sure that is open so that your HDMI port is accessible, and just kind of center it on those bolts so that the HDMI cord is accessible right through there. And just tighten it up with the provided Allen wrench. So there we have the HDMI clamp ready to go, and we can tighten in the HDMI cable with these two bolts right here. So that's really all we have for this NITZE GH5 cage. So let's go on and cage up the Atomos Ninja V. So one of the things I already did was put on the sunblock, and you can tell that it just straps on with these Velcro strips right here. And it has spots for the strip to slide through, and it is nice and secure and it is not going anywhere. So we take these provided bolts right here, and on the Atomos Ninja V, you have the threads on the top and bottom, and that's actually how this is going to secure in to the cage, just like that. So we'll line everything up and get these bolts in and tighten them with the provided Allen wrenches. So you got the bottom and you have the top right here, so get those lined up and you can tighten that up really easily. And then your Atomos Ninja V cage is on, and as you can tell, you have access to all of the side buttons as well as the HDMI port. And what we're gonna actually do now is put the HDMI port clamp on the Ninja V cage so that these cables will be secure right in there. And we're just gonna line these up and take the provided bolts and tighten that in. All right, so we have the HDMI clamp on, and then what we can do is slide the cable in there and tighten these bolts down to really give it a secure lock on the side of the Ninja V. Now, one of the things I really like about having this cable lock on here is that when you put the hard drive in to the Ninja V, sometimes without a cage and without this clamp, it'll kind of stick out the side of where the actual end of the monitor is. But this clamp right here is going to keep this even, and it's going to protect your hard drive right here from, you know, getting bumped, knocked out, whatever the case may be. So I really like having this clamp on here. So let's get the monitor mount on, and here you can see how it, you know, very simply goes right on this part to center it. And you just take this bolt and tighten it up. And to get it really tight, if you want, you can take one of these Allen wrenches, stick it in there, and, you know, really tighten it up so that it's not gonna go anywhere. So there we have the monitor mount on. So when you go to put it on your GH5, you just slide it in and then tighten it up with that quick release clamp. So then to get these cables in, just pop it in there and then tighten down these clamps so that it is nice and secure. And then next, toss it in to the GH5, then tighten down those bolts with the provided Allen wrench, and then you are secure with your cables, and they're not going to go anywhere, and they're not going to pop out or anything like that. All right, so here's a few things that I actually really like about this cinema rig with these NITZE cages on the GH5 and the Ninja V. First of all, I really like the build of these cages. It's lightweight, it's aluminum, so it's lightweight. It's not going to add a ton of weight to your already small and lightweight GH5, which, let's be honest, for some of us, that's one of the reasons we use it. But this side handle here kind of curves around the actual hand grip here, so it's not sticking way out to where you actually are just holding the cage. You're able to get a good grip on the hand grip right along this side because this metal piece right here kind of curves with the flow of the hand grip. Another thing I really like about this cage is that all of the buttons on the GH5 are accessible. So you're able to get to all of the buttons that you need, and there is no really hindrance to pushing any of these buttons on the GH5. So if you're a run and gun type shooter like me, you like a setup like this so that you're able to get to your buttons to change white balance real quick, or just get to the ISO settings, or get to this dial to get to some of your custom settings there. So here's a couple things I like about the cage for the Atomos Ninja V. First of all, being the HDMI cable clamp. So you're able to tighten these knobs or loosen them and really secure that HDMI cable into the side of the Atomos Ninja V. Another thing I like about this monitor cage is just the cover that comes with it. It just Velcros right on. It has different spots where you can Velcro, and it's secure. It's not going anywhere, and it will help a ton in the sunlight. Now, the Ninja V is a pretty bright monitor, but sometimes when you get into those daylight settings, it's just hard to see. So having some type of cover like this is very beneficial for any outdoor shooting. Now, there are just a couple things that I think NITZE could improve on for this cage for the GH5. And not really necessarily the Atomos Ninja V, it mostly falls on the GH5 cage. Now, like I said, I really like the shape and design of the cage, but if we could add one more row of threads on the top piece right above the Lumix logo, if we could add one more row of threads, I think that would be helpful for adding maybe a top handle or connecting the monitor up there. The second thing that I think could be improved on is the HDMI clamp on the actual GH5 cage. Now, to be honest with you, I probably would not even use this clamp on the GH5 because it's a full-size HDMI that really stays in well on the GH5. Now, if this was like a micro or mini HDMI, that might be a different story because those are some pretty small connecting points. But this full-size HDMI on here, don't really need it because this clamp right here and right on this top part, you cannot, where it falls, where it screws in, you're not able to open the headphone jack and get your headphones in there to monitor any type of audio that you might be using. Now, one of the things that you could do is just monitor it through the Atomos Ninja V. However, I do like having access to the headphone port on the GH5, and I can't even, where it screws in here, I can't even get it open. I do have access to the mic port, so I can toss a mic in there, but headphone jack, not there. If you need to use the USB-C, it's blocked by this clamp, so you're not able to use that as well. It's primarily for clamping in the HDMI cable, but in all reality, I probably would not use this HDMI cable clamp on here because I cannot access the headphone jack. So just a couple design things on this cage by NITZE, but otherwise, I really feel like for a budget cage, this is a very, very good setup. Now, like I said, I have a link down in the description. If you want to check it out for yourself, make sure you check out this NITZE cage for the GH5 and the Atomos Ninja V. And you can see some of the other specs that are on there and take a look for yourself. Now, let me know down in the comments, do you cage your GH5? Do you like using a cage? Do you like using any type of rig on your GH5 and monitor or whatever? Do you like using those? Let me know down in the comment section and we can get a conversation started. Again, thank you NITZE for sending me these cages to use on the GH5 and the Atomos Ninja V. I really do appreciate it, and I really like this cinema rig build, this minimalist cinema rig build. Well, that's all I really have for this video. If you have time, stick around, watch one of these videos that's popping up on your screen right here. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.